Welcome back to the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. You got your boy, the Dividend Dog. I am going to be running the point guard position today for the podcast solo today. Paul is he's under the weather, so shout out to Paul. Hope he is feeling better and gets better soon, so he can get back on here and chit chat with us about his stocks and his Amazon journey. But we have two new guests on the podcast today. We first have John Kane, and then we have Rob Stein, both investors, just investing on 9 to 5, just like all of us out there. They'll be talking about their portfolios and going over, their personal lives and basically what made them get into investing and, what their outlook is on, the 2023 year. And then, we'll go into just like some market trends and earnings and finish it up and talk about, what we see, like I said, on outlook of 2023. So first and foremost, wanted to give all you guys a shout out there, subscribers and listeners, for hitting that like and subscribe button. So if you are new to the channel, please share this with your friends. And if you are continuing to listen to us, we thank you. We do see your support, and it's helping the page grow as well. So guys, I want to kick it over to John Kane, and the floor is yours, John. Just wanted to hear, your personal story and how life's going with you, man. I know we've been friends for, oh man, how long, dude?
It's been probably about 20 years now, probably going on 20 since I've known you, I think.
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
We're two-thirds of the life, man. Two-thirds.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man. So John and I, we go all the way back to Little League days.
Yep.
But playing Harper Woods ball. Shout out to the Cardinals out there, Harper Woods Little League. But yeah, John, go ahead and let us know what's been going on in your personal life and fill us in how your portfolio is doing, man.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, quick synopsis of me now. I mean, just give a little background, right? I think age is kind of important for the conversation, understand how it all developed for me. So 30 years old, got a wife that's 32 as well. As far as the investing goes, I think, maybe the best background to give on that, and probably use something you already understand, right, Ted, is, looking at the childhood, right? I had parents who had kids super young, right? Super young. So yep. 16 and 18, and then me 4 years later. So, you see things that, while my dad, right, turned out super successful, right, for what, he was able to do and is now an engineer, things have been going great. You kind of realize that they didn't have any semblance of understanding, right, of investing, right, of planning for retirement, anything like that. They were just doing their best to get by, right. And so while that's a great accomplishment for, where they were at, I started realizing that I don't know when they're going to retire. They don't know that. So it's always been kind of on the forefront of my mind, right, of like, I need to know how to do it, right. And then you get to that point of, right, me and you, let's say early 20s, mid 20s, where we're like, all right, we actually really have to start doing this, right?
Dude, so me and John used to go out and party, guys. John, tell them we used to go out and party.
Yeah, we used to go out. The credit cards weren't always looking so good for a while there, right? So that was, and fast forward it, that was kind of the biggest thing for me, right? Is you graduate, you start getting into your career, right? You get the apartment life going, me and Ted living together, and then you start thinking about it. And I started looking at it in terms of, oh, I don't want that debt, right? Right. I got student loans. I have all of this stuff. And I would say that the biggest jumpstart for me, as crazy as it sounds, really was kind of COVID times. Because going into that, right, I was one of the lucky ones. I never got furloughed or laid off from my job the whole time.
Yeah,
right.
Man.
So it was good.
Huge
and
blessing.
I went into it. My wife had, at the time we weren't married, but she had already paid her loans off years before that. So me, I had just, I think, north of like 30,000, right, still to pay off. And
you say Jess paid our loans off, right?
Oh yeah, hers were paid off way before mine.
Shout out.
So I knew, right, I'm like, okay, we're not doing anything. We're sitting at home. You're having a bonfire 5 days a week. You're not socializing with anybody. You're not spending money. You're not doing anything. You're putting puzzles together. So I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity. I know everyone's like, oh, there's no interest on loans, I'm not paying them. That was not me. I said, I'm pumping as much money as possible into this, right? So we were renting a house at the time, didn't even own. So between that 2 year period through just normal money from checks, right? Your standard every 2-week paycheck. And then, lucky enough getting bonuses and things from work based on where life was going at the time, that I paid off my loans in May of last year, in the exact same month that we bought our first house, or what we plan to be our forever house. Right. So
that's awesome.
As soon as that happened, right, May's done, June's here. I said, hey, Ted, let's talk about this investing stuff. Cause now, right, I'm ready to go. I know, like I knew, right, that 500, that 1,000, that 2,000 I was putting in my loans every month, that's going somewhere. Right. Cause I knew
you said an instant raise.
Yeah. And 401k is not enough, right? You need multiple streams.
They tell us,
as far as I'm concerned, Social Security is not even a word. It just doesn't exist to me, right? I just poof, doesn't matter, right? I just act like it's not even there. So that's why for me, it's maybe different than what a lot of people do, but that's why a dividend portfolio for me was the most attractive option, just based on, right? Time is a huge factor of it too, right? Okay, we're 30, we have the time, but it's the best way to prep for yourself, generations, things like that, right, ahead of you, and establish that to where maybe I don't have all the knowledge of getting into, some of the things we may talk about on here, right? You're looking at these growth plays, you're looking at this, you're looking at that. But for me, it's not only a long-term, but it was also a good place to start at the time. So as I evolve, that's kind of, where I'm at, and I'm about a year into it now, and just about at that 1,000 annual mark. So, not too shabby for a year. So we're getting there.
Dude, you've been breaking it up every single day in the market. And that's what it takes. And then you get, you count in your dividend raises that you get throughout the year, those 5%, 2% raises every quarter. Those count up along with the returns, and you putting money in before you know it, man. You've got yourself a nice little portfolio there.
For sure.
Yeah. So what's in John's portfolio? I haven't really been fishing, to see what's in there. Give us a little inside scoop. What you got going on? What's cooking?
Man, I would consider myself a little boring, maybe, in terms of maybe some other investors. The craziest plays that I have going on are two of your favorites as well, right? You got ET and you got Vici are probably the two biggest plays that we're hoping for just blow up, right? Long term.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. But for a lot of it, how calculated I am, right? I like to hit certain measurables, certain goals, certain this, certain that. So I'm really only spread out across about seven different stocks right now. And each of those monetarily have about the same amount. ET's obviously, right, that's paying me the most in terms of dividends. Of
course.
Right? So when you break that down, but I got ET, I got Coca-Cola, I got Vici, I got SCHD, got Verizon, just started dabbling into J&J a little bit. I was digging that price point. And then I saved the one for last that I'm going to hold it, but we're all going to see how this roller coaster goes. I got quite a bit of 3M that I'm just waiting to see how that all pans out.
Every time I see something 3M, I think of you, man. I'm like, dude, John's just been holding on. I'm
just going for it, man. I've been averaging a little bit, but I've been really putting towards most of my other items in the portfolio now. But hey, 30, playing the long game, not going anywhere with it, right? It's been there for a reason. So I like to play a lot of the safe games, right? That's why I just, the newest thing I got is J&J, right? Then I'm looking at Target, looking at, there's a lot of staples, but I do try to diversify enough, right? So you get that market protection. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I like to do, like to see where these price points are at, and then try to get those in at a low, right? That stage one, if you will, like we know, like our boy likes to do. And we just go from there, right? We get those at that price point and just kind of let it ride. And I bounce from here to there and just keep building what I have.
Heck yeah, man. No. And that's the way to go. And like, the more that I read and like more information that I seek out, that's literally what it comes down to. Like buying the boring stocks, the value stocks. Those are the ones that are gonna, outpace, like the ones that are fast moving right now. Shout out to the tech market or tech sector. It's obviously, it's the elephant in the room. It's booming right now. So companies that you mentioned, John, are all companies that you can go out right now and look and see their product, right?
Yep.
I mean, you can go out
Absolutely.
and look at Vixie. You can go and look at the casinos, Greektown. You mentioned J&J. You mentioned Target. So all like products that, guys, that you go out and you go to the store and see. Like yesterday, when I went to Kroger yesterday, as soon as I go down the aisle, I see nothing
Mm-hmm.
but Procter and Gamble, and I go look at, we were going to look at some wipes for, for our pups, and I look at the diapers. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know Kimberly Clark were in the the diaper gang, along with PG, and I'm just like, wow, you see all the stuff when you go on Kroger. I mean, like these guys, they own the grocery store, so it's just like simple simple stocks, as John said, and attacking the market at different price points and making sure you're buying it at a good time. Making sure you're not losing much capital, that definitely goes a long way, especially when you're starting at the beginning. So for
Mm-hmm.
sure, man. Yeah, awesome, dude. Anything else that you want to get out there? Is there anywhere where they can find you on with your
Yeah.
portfolio?
So on my Twitter, obviously, right? J Kane Invest. So that's obviously something I don't have quite the following Ted over here has, but we all start somewhere, right? So
Dude, why did you say that?
no, it's but it's good, man.
Well,
It's all about the sharing the info, seeing what everybody's
yeah,
doing. Is
man.
it's just good to see, right? It's just nice to see what everybody out there is in the same boat as you. Everybody's in different spots, everybody's doing different things, but we're the type of people that I like to see everybody around me succeed, right? So it's just kind of a cool thing to see, and I highly recommend it, right? Just getting on there, see what other people are doing, and doing that.
Yeah, and John, was it hard for you to start when you open an account? Was it
Oh
hard or
man,
anything like that? How
it's
quick was it?
it's so easy to the point that when you start doing it, you feel like it's you feel like you're not doing it right, because it is that easy when you think about it. The whole thing of building this portfolio really is that easy. And like this whole podcast is, right? If you're 9 to 5 and you still have time to research this, imagine what you can do by just putting in that little bit extra time, right?
Hmm.
Reading that one extra book, invest in that, one extra stock, reading that one extra article. I mean, it really is that easy, right? And I mean, we went into this not having a ton of knowledge, and it's just if you push through and you just want to learn, then you'll be a-okay, right?
Exactly, man. Yep. And it all starts, like you said, with yourself and the willing to want to do it and want to see yourself succeed and create that generational wealth, man. You mentioned that, you have a baby on the way, and
Yep.
like you said, our upbringing, we want the best for our kids, and you know how we were driving around the cabbie with coins in our
Yep.
pockets, man, going to the
Yep.
gas station at
Putting
Seven
quarters,
Eleven,
putting quarters in the
putting
gas
quarters in,
tank.
trying to just drive around the block, man, just to see what's going on. So it's awesome to see yourself grow, man, and us grow in this space, man, and hopefully 20 years down the line, we look back and be able to be like, holy crap, dude, we were doing this in our 30s.
Yep.
And then it's gonna be funny then. So
Well, and
awesome,
that's the
dude.
biggest thing you were saying too, right? Like as we get older and the you look back, it's all about discipline, right? I mean, it's all like you
Hmm.
said, I have a baby on the way, and it's a good thing to think about that I'm putting, a certain amount, right, every month, here, there, and we have daycare coming up. It's not cheap, right? But by
Oh yeah,
just
you were sending me the
but,
bills, boy. I
yeah,
was sweating
but
over here like I had one on the way.
yeah, but just by like adjusting, right? Like, do I really need to go out to eat that time? Like you sacrifice maybe some of those little things to then have it pay off down the road. And I mean, it's just, you got to make sure that as you evolve, I mean, your investing does too, but you don't, in my opinion, is you don't sacrifice that, like what do you say? Always pay yourself first, right? That's always what you
Exactly.
should be doing. So,
Yes, sirski. And
yep.
dude, wait until we get you guys into trading weeklies and monthly
Yep.
contracts
Yep.
and yearlies. Boom. We're gonna be rolling for sure, full steam then, boys.
Yep.
You ever heard him hit him with both barrels? My dad used to say that. He was like, when you go out in the field today, son, hit him with both barrels. I'm like, oh wow, dad, double
Live
shotgun.
by
All
it.
right. Awesome, man. John, thank you so much for giving us a fill in on your personal life and professional life and portfolio update.
Yep.
Obviously, you
Absolutely,
guys
man.
know where to find him, and you guys can find him on Twitter, man. This is where we're all hanging out at. talking about what plays are coming up and what plays that we're in and getting out of. Awesome community. So join along if you're not on Twitter or on Threads. But next up, we got one of the best left-handed hitters I have ever seen or I've ever played with, too. Personally, I played with this guy. We got number one, Robbie Stein.
Oh my God, appreciate it, Ted. How you doing?
So, guys, sorry, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just had that was his intro. That was the intro that the announcer, that's how the announcer announced his name when we played for the River Rats. So, imagine we heard it plenty of times. So that's every time I see his name, that's how I gotta say him. What's going on?
Brings back good memories.
Heck yeah. What's going on, man?
Not much. I'm just excited to be on the pod with you. Obviously been friends with you now for about like 10 years. It's probably 10 years ago this, would have been 10 years ago this summer.
It feels so, that's another thing, man. You're right.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2013, but you're right. 10 years. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's wild, but no, it's good to be on the pod. I'm excited. I've been getting a little bit more active on the Twitter community, which has been great. And honestly, I'm not all that educated in a lot of the stock market plays or reading the charts. I know about the companies, but following you and getting included into that little community has been great and really helped, focus me in the right direction. But no, I think the biggest thing too, the thing that really turned it around, like I was texting you last week, it was funny when it all started when I met you out in Atlanta about almost a year ago, maybe about last October. Yeah. I was down there on a work trip and I was talking to you and you knew that I had been investing a little and I was like, oh, I'm just kind of playing around with it. And I opened up my Robinhood account and you were like, man, you got to be putting your money in better places.
Yeah, man. Hey, John, man, Rob showed me his Robinhood account and my eyes was like, boy, what are you? Oh, I was like, okay. I was like, hold on, man. Hold on.
He was going for it. He was just going for it, Ted.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump the gun and be like, yo, you could really be flipping this like even crazier. I don't want to tell you to get out of your plays, but you go ahead, Rob.
No, it was great, honestly. And I was glad that we were out till about 4 a.m. I had to catch a flight at about 6 a.m. We had a great time, but just, talking about old memories and even more so though about the market and what we want to do with our lives, starting now. So no, it's been good. And I guess I'll backtrack a little for a quick intro. I'm 31. I live in Indianapolis. I work in technology consulting. I work for a research and consulting and advisory firm within technology. So that's actually what drives a lot of my portfolio is understanding what's going on in the technology space, the AI space. Every company's talking about that right now. So, I'm heavily, I would say more top heavy focused in on the technology space just because it's a little bit more in my wheelhouse. But getting into trading just in general, I started sports gambling during COVID. Like I was sitting there listening to John's story. It's like very similar to me. Like I was bored during COVID, started sports gambling a lot, realized I was horrible at sports gambling. And one time my friend, we were all sitting around and he was like, have you ever looked at your overall like earnings? I was like, no, I haven't. I don't even know how to get to that page. And I flipped to it and I looked at it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I cannot sports gamble ever again. I'm losing so much money. And I didn't even realize how much I was pissing away. So I was like, the next day I was like, all right, I'm opening up a Robinhood account. And like John said, it was super easy to get started. It's on, if you can open up a sports gambling account, you can easily open up a Robinhood account and figure out your way to navigate it. So I guess that's a little bit how I started and a little bit of background on me.
Heck yeah, man. And thank you for filling us in on your background. And you mentioned, dude, we all have different, starts to our investing journey. With me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if you guys heard on, Tom's podcast that I got started because my card declined at dinner one time.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, we all have different starts. You know what I'm saying? It was probably the most embarrassing thing embarrassing time of my life. John's over there dying right now. I can already tell you. It's all right, John. It's all right. We can
We used
laugh
to
about
compare
it
our
now.
credit scores back in the day. That's just all that makes me think of.
Dude, I'm talking about like sweating over them. You know what I'm saying? Um, but no, dude, we all have different starts of our time of investing, but we're all around that 30, 31, 29, 28 marker. That's where I see a bulk of heavy investors are at on Twitter starting, I would say. And I have my cousin, he was shout out to Dylan. He's just opened up his first portfolio at 19.
It's
We're trying
awesome.
to build up his portfolio. And I told him, hey, if you want to invest in Meta, and he likes the AI and Ready Player One, Google. I said, hey man, go crazy with that. I said, dude, you're
Yeah.
19. I said, dude, by the time you're my age, this stuff is probably gonna be full blown like force, like, and you're getting like a head start on it. So shout out to him. And back to you with technology. It's funny that you mentioned what you do for work and how you use what you see to invest, just like same thing as John's portfolio. You guys have two different portfolios. You guys are the same age. You guys basically work in technology, engineering, tech world, but you guys both you guys have different mindsets, but same goal at the end of goal. Um, that's awesome, dude. Well, so Rob, fill us in, man. As far as like investing, what's like topping your portfolio that you see, pushing hard for the end of the year, or next year, or what you see on your watch list? What's going on?
Yeah, the ones that I like the most, like I just mentioned, technology wise, yeah, Apple, Amazon, Google, those three are ones that I'm trying to get to 100 shares of each of those. I don't think that'll happen by the end of the year this year, but hopefully by middle of the year next year can get to that number. I'm close on Google, but I think those three companies, they're going down so many new avenues. Especially with Apple and Google moving into somewhat of like the finance and banking industry, like a 4% savings account. I
Yes.
think I think the banking industry is going to be maybe flipped on its head here a little bit. And I also have SoFi because I think SoFi is also
Ooh,
really going
SoFi.
hard
Okay,
against
okay.
the
SoFi's
banking industry
SoFi's nice,
also.
man.
Yeah, and the stocks that you really got me into and focusing in on the EFT side of things, SCHD, that's my biggest one right now.
I know
It's
it's
been
down, guys. I'm sorry.
yeah, but well, it's down like currently, but not when we were starting to talk about it. Not our target strike price at that, right around $70 mark. When it gets around there, it's just buy time.
Hmm.
But the dividends have been nice on that, and I've only had it for a handful of months. ET, Vici, as John mentioned, both of those are ones that I'm really high on. Another one that I really like, and I threw it out on Twitter the other day, is Driv, or DRIV. I
Oh
don't even know how
yeah,
you
yeah,
would
yeah. Call
pronounce
it
it
drip.
specifically.
I call it drive sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, drive, driv, whatever.
Green
But
jacket,
I
gold
really like
jacket.
that one. I like the way that the company allocation is set up in that.
Yes. Yep.
It somewhat already is the companies that I'm gearing towards and focusing on, singularly. So it's nice to kind of have that spread across the board as well. So, those are the big ones. And then, I gotta throw out some of the new ones that, Ted and I have been talking about lately. Uber, PayPal, CVS, GM, those are ones that I've been more recent on. And then the long hold that I, probably
I
got
know.
myself in the most trouble with, but I'm gonna keep holding on to it, is that Neo hold.
I know,
I'm just
dude.
waiting
I'm
for
gonna get
the
my
waiting
100
for them to
shares
come to
back,
the US.
dude. I'm gonna get my 100 shares. Hey, John knows Neo's coming to the U.S.
Oh yeah.
John
Yeah.
knows.
Oh yeah.
John
It's coming,
John
man.
John's seen Neo on the board. But yeah, dude, I gotta get my 100 shares back. But drive, yes. I
Yeah.
love that both of you guys mentioned ETFs that you guys have in your portfolio. Could you both explain how important ETFs are, just for any new investor or anyone out there that's just now getting started? How have ETFs helped you guys find new plays in the market? Rob, if you don't mind, I'll let John go.
Yep.
How does it help me find new plays, you're saying?
Yeah, just like how have it helped you find plays, or has it helped you like just all right, cool, I'll just keep this sector here and we'll
Yeah,
just
I
keep
mean, it definitely,
diversified.
I like analyzing it in terms of just when you're kind of looking at their holdings, right? I feel like it gives you maybe in a less way of saying it, right? You don't have as much knowledge as some of these people are, right? That are opening these ETFs, that are tracking some of these things. So looking into what their top holdings are kind of gives me a clue into maybe what I want to look into. And to Rob's point, right? I mean, Michigan, right? You know, I'm going to be in automotive some way, some shape, some form, right? I work in electronics, automotive electronics. So everything is integrating right now, right? Mm-hmm. Everything tech is integrating. And we have Neo, we got Apple trying to make cars. At one point we had Dyson trying to make cars, man. That's stuff I've seen at work. I swear
oh,
to
yeah,
you, man.
John does send me some cool stuff about
you'll see everything out there. So if you just pay attention to what you see around you and what's building up, just like Rob was saying, right? With these big players breaking into financial markets, why do you think I don't have Chase, I don't have, right, Citizens or somebody in there? You know, I'm not comfortable yet with having some of these financials and dropping that money into there, seeing how there's different players going around and you know, these Silicon Valley Bank things that are happening. I mean, there's just so much moving around in the finance world with rates and with everything else that if you just pay attention to what's around you, I mean, like what you were saying, seeing in the ETFs or just your everyday life, I mean, it just helps. It really does. And, you know, just pay attention. It's like when you think about the best way I like to say it is, if you're like thinking about getting a car, right? You're like, I think my next car that I want to get, my next lease or my next this, you start seeing that everywhere on the road, right? You start seeing it. So everywhere. You think that way about a stock, you start seeing it everywhere.
It's like
when you were big on Zim, Ted, I meant to text you. I was driving down the highway. I saw all their containers
no, you didn't,
on the side
bro.
of the road.
You saw
I swear.
all the Zims
going down river past those oil drums, right? Down river. Yep. They had a bunch of those off to the left. So you see it everywhere if you just start paying attention, right?
Yes. That's awesome, dude. Heck yeah. And like you said, man, you know, you gotta look out and use your two eyes. And that's one big thing that, you know, has helped not just me, but, you know, helped talking with others on getting into the market. Is just like looking out and, you know, using your two eyes and listening to what your friends are talking about. I mean, the Barbie movie's coming out. I mean, Nicki Minaj has got a Barbie song about it. So it's like, I don't know, Barbie, Mattel, you know, AMC, they're going to go to the movies and watch that. So it's just like, kind of putting those things. I'm not trying to say anything's going to happen with those. It's not financial advice, by the way. But it's just like, you know, seeing these type of things as like using it as like, hey, I can invest in that. It's like Apple. Come on, man. It's like no brainer, invest in that. Now that is financial advice. Buy all the Apple you want. Apple, Google, for sure. Buy it all. And thank yourself in 10, 20 years. But I'm gonna swing it over to Rob. Rob, so fill us in as far as like, you know, how has ETFs or how have they helped you, you know, like I said, find any new plays or, you know, how important diversity, you know, is in the portfolio?
Yeah, I think I agree with that a lot with what John just said, but I think ETFs in general are also somewhat of a safety net when it comes to your portfolio. At the beginning of my journey, I was buying a lot of, let's just say, cheaper stocks. I actually wasn't really looking into the companies. I was more interested into what the stock price was and if that I could buy and accumulate more shares and be like, oh, I'd rather buy a $2.25 stock than $100, you know, of Google, because it's like, you know, in my head, I didn't really conceptualize the difference, you know, it's still money. So I think figuring out like you shouldn't really have a portfolio full of individual stocks. There should be some safety nets in there because the individual stocks, I had some big losses early on. It's like these ETFs shouldn't, you know, have that major of losses over time. It's more kind of like a safety play. And John mentioned earlier too, it's like, you know, I don't have the time to do the research into all of these companies. You know, some of these ETFs have thousands of corporations in them. You know, I'll trust the experts. You know, I'll look at what the dividend return yield is. I'll look at the historic growth and specifically which companies are more heavily top weighted in them. But I think, you know, the biggest thing for me is, again, like realizing you can put $100 into, you know, an ETF. It doesn't matter how many necessarily like shares you're getting at that time. You just need to grow, you know, how much you're inputting there, because the reward on the back end is great. In the you know, dividend payouts and continuing to reinvest that right back into that same stock or right back into that same ETF, you know, to continue to compound, because we don't need, you know, the money right now, but we'll be enjoying it in our 50s when hopefully we have enough to pay off our
Yeah, hopefully we can take a day off,
expenses.
man.
Yeah.
We could all take a day off.
Change the
and go live
name of the
somewhere in Florida,
podcast.
man.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Hey, we can call it Day Off Podcast.
Yeah.
Investing on a 9 to 5 with today on a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 5 day off or something. Oh man, that would be awesome. Hey, speak it into existence. Why not, boys? Why the heck not? Well, Rob, thank you, man, for filling us in on your portfolio and as far as like what you see as like your structure on how you go out and see stocks and over time how you've grown as far as like an investor. Both, I mean, me too. I used to buy the $2 stocks, the $5 stocks. I mean, I was buying ET. ET was an $8-9 stock. And if
Yep.
they had just cut their dividend, I was buying it in 2020. People were telling me, no, do not buy that company because they just cut their dividend and that's not good. Well, I was like, nah, management did a little bit more research into the company, saw the PE ratio, saw how they were going to trade in the future, saw also they own Sunoco gas stations. I'm like, I'm going to take a risk on this. Why not? And then I just kept seeing articles about continue to buy. I mean, we're still continuous to see it now. I mean, they got a target price of 22, 24 for ET. Not financial advice to go out and buy it, but it's good for us that have already been in it now to, that's good for us to see. And it's a good time to continue to buy. I mean, for us, I would say. Sweet, man. Do you guys see any, new stocks or anything or new sector that you guys are going to dabble into by end of year or any goals that you guys have set for yourselves?
Yeah, Rob, if you want to go for it, man.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll say the one stock that I've been very interested in, and I have some experience with the company and very knowledgeable in the company is Zoetis, the animal pharmaceutical.
You told me
company.
about that one, right?
Yeah, they're old Pfizer spinoff. So they're their own company now, but it's just a great company. They have the structure behind them to have significant growth. Individuals like us are only spending more and more money on our dogs. That's just the way that the world's going, or at least America is going. So I think that that's a company, and they've been up into the 220 ranges before. Right now it's like 172.
What's the ticker on that, Rob?
ZTS.
Okay.
And they've got a good dividend yield as well. So, that's one that I've been, always slowly buying. And it was one that I was the most nervous about jumping into originally because of how high the price was. But again, once getting over that fear and realizing, in Robinhood, you can buy the fractional shares.
Yes.
It was smart to just put that little bit of money into them over time.
Bingo. You guys, listeners out there, if you guys are still with us, Rob dropped a golden nugget. You can buy fractional shares in these companies. So this company here right now, ticker ZTS, is at 172.19. Well, if you don't have 172.19, that is okay. You can buy $25, $10, or heck, you can even put $5 into this company and buy $5 today, buy $5 tomorrow, or every week, or so on, however you want to do it. But as long as you're starting and getting that snowball effect going, that's how the game, starts to reward you when you need it at the end of the day. So Zoetis, ticker ZTS. All right, they got a 1-year target of 216. They got a bullish here for the last 5 days here. Yep, bullish here for the last 5 days. I got PE ratio at 38. It's an expensive company, but Rob did say they are specialized in pets. People do pay for their animals. I can't agree with that because I have 2 dogs of my own. We will pay for our animals.
And the biggest thing about them that I think is
John has animals too.
Yeah, they've got a product that does the blood analyzing on the spot in the clinics, and it's not like fully out yet. So that blood analyzer device is going to be in every animal vet clinic across the country at some point, and no one's going to have to ship off blood samples to go get the test done. It'll be done within 20 minutes right there on site, and the answer spit right back to you, so there's no wait time. So that's like a huge thing. And the other thing too, that a lot of these things, some of these devices they're working on could potentially be flipped into working on humans as well, like this blood analyzer device that they're using. that could easily be used on human blood also. So right now they're only currently in the animal sector, but there is like a long-term outreach and, potential for them to move into something like that.
Heck yeah, man. And you guys know healthcare just in general, that's $1 trillion market here in the,
Yeah.
2030, 2040. So like if they can tap into this and go into human and do that, I mean, the cash flow and the market grow. I mean, the cash flow just to investors is what I'm saying. It's going to be huge. And what
Yep.
you say you're 30 now. I mean, they do this in the next 10, 15 years. You're 45, 46. I mean, you're cashing in, nicely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, heck yeah, man. So Zoetis, I mean, I'm gonna take a look at it. What I like to do is like I was telling I told John I don't know, a while back. I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, dude, I always like to buy a share of a company, like with people that I'm like, that I'm associated with. I'm like, hey, what kind of company you're in? Or this little company here? All right, cool, bet. I'm gonna buy this too. So next time I see you, we got something to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll talk about Google and how Google is, but like that's the elephant in the room. Like we all know
Right.
to buy Microsoft, Amazon, Google, like you know what I'm saying? So it's like we gotta do next level things and find these next level companies before the big guys do.
Yeah.
Rob, appreciate that, man. Zoetis, guys, ticker ZTS. Take a look at it. Not financial advice, but take a look at it for sure. John, passing the rock over to you. I know you got something spinning for me.
Yeah, it's something we've already talked about though, and I didn't even mention it when we were talking earlier about what is something you're holding in the portfolio, because I've kind of left it alone for a long time, right? And I've just been letting what I have with Qualcomm sit, but based on it's a tough one that I keep looking at, right? Because especially like Rob was saying, I mean the tech world it's so fluid, right? And you never know what's going to happen at any point, right? I would have really loved to be in NVIDIA when that shot up 80 something that one day. That would have been real nice, right?
Yeah,
but
NVIDIA's a beast, man.
so the other thing, and that's part of the reason, right, getting into Qualcomm, seeing all right, what's out there with competitors and things like that, and from my professional point of view, right, of what I see every day, ideal automotive electronics, right? They're trying to do these integrated softwares, these things that my crazy roller coaster of a company, right? That is now actually Magna, right? Magna International, Magna Electronics. Shout out to Magna, right? So when we were my previous company, Qualcomm actually bought out, right, the software portion of that. So there's things that I see, knowing that other portions of the world, right? Europe, Asia kind of does their own thing, right? They do whatever they want, but Europe, right? I see there's certain regulations that are set to take place within the next 2, 3, 4 years that people like Qualcomm, right, or these companies like Qualcomm are going to try to get more involved in. I mean, you see, I see it from my point of view and my, everyday life of what they're trying to grow into by breaking not just into what they already have as a business plan, but break into that automotive world, which is what do you see on the road every day, right? So they're a big one that I'm watching in terms of seeing how does that pan out, because they are trying to break into that industry, right? And we'll kind of see, but it's riding low right now, so it's a little bit attractive in terms of, right, if that growth I'm expecting does pan out. But it'll be interesting. That's one that I have, because like I said, I'm on the flip side of usually being in those quote unquote boring, a lot of kings, a lot of aristocrats, right? Things that I safely invest in, and always trying to dabble and grow into, what plays do I have to maybe get some more capital going, rolling in. So
heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Awesome, dude. I mean, dude, just Qualcomm. I mean, they're tapping into EVs. They got Meta. They tap into the Meta too. They work with Meta on the metaverse. Qualcomm will be behind that too. So I think it's a sleeper too. So you guys mentioned two great, stocks that, hasn't been in the news or you haven't seen it. Hey, this stock is on, making 52 weeks highs every 15 minutes like Uber has. The past like couple of weeks, it's like I've been getting a new alert. Uber 52-week high. I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, Uber another 52-week high. I'm like, all right, we're golden. But both of you guys' stocks are both consolidating, I think, right now, especially Qualcomm. Qualcomm was at like 105. Now it's at 122.56. Still at 135 target price. Good forward price to earnings at 12. Price earnings right now is 13. Yeah, man. I mean, good cash flow. Yeah, solid dividend. What 2% dividend? What's been growing it past year 6.7%, paying out 320 per share annually. So yeah, man, gross margins, operating margins are perfect. I mean, yeah, dude. So I mean, it's just another sleeper that's gonna run here at any given moment here. So yeah, Qualcomm is a sleeper, you know, in the tech industry. I think that hasn't shown up to the plate or hasn't gotten its chance to get to the plate yet. I feel like it's on deck, you know.
So there's a lot of big players,
Yeah.
man. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's a
I
hard
feel like
industry.
I feel like we should call our plays, you know, that we're the on deck boys or something. You know,
Yeah,
that haven't gotten a
exactly.
chance to get to the plate yet. You know, we
There you
call
go.
them on deck. You know,
I like that.
yeah. One for me before we get off here. Shout out to you guys for sticking it out with us here, listeners and John and Rob. One play for me, I'm looking at is Dave and Buster's ticker symbol play actually. Is actually trading at a 20% margin of safety. It's at $54. Target price right now. It's got a price to earnings at 15. A forward price to earnings at 10.2. Doesn't pay a dividend. It's more of a growth. I'm really trying to build up my growth portfolio right now. I feel like my dividends are rolling pretty solid right now. I got ET up to whatever, like 328. To get that $100 quarterly. And then, obviously we're still chasing 100 shares of ACHD. I think Rob, you got SCH, you got 100 shares, right?
Yeah, I'm at like 156 right now.
150. Woo! Boy's on fire, man. The boy is on fire.
I went pretty heavy into that one once you let me into the world of understanding what these ETFs do.
Oh, dude,
why you like that one. I did some
that compounding growth, man.
Yeah, I was like, this is it. This is it.
The compounding growth, I feel on that one is going to help it outperform, a lot of ETFs down the line. Now, obviously, it sucks right now because, I mean, we just got a hoorah for AI technology. Everybody's investing in AI, so yeah, of course, all the AI stocks are going to run. So, healthcare and financials, which obviously SCHT is specialized in, obviously is taking a little hit right now. But it's not. I'm not down like 10%. I've never been down. Have you guys ever been down more than 5% on SCHD?
No.
I haven't been. Okay.
No.
I just want some listeners out there, some bears or SCHD bears. I've never sweated a day in my life to be down 1% on SCHD. I think I've been down maybe like 0.9, 0.8. But yeah, back to Dave and Buster's, man. I mean, dude, they get over 6 million people to go through the doors. Great cash flow in their industry. They're trading at the lowest PE ratio, which is like huge. Obviously, once we look more into the stocks, but that's one that I think I'm gonna, try to get probably 10, 20 shares on, not to do anything crazy on. But like long term, I think, if we were to go into a recession, I feel people are still gonna go out to Dave and Buster's and get out of the house and they're still gonna go out and spend money at some given way or shape or form to get out of the house. So ticker symbol play PLAY for Dave and Buster's is the one on my on deck list here. Moving forward, and obviously Uber too. John, are you in Uber?
I'm not, but I need to listen to you and Dave, man. It's in my head every day. Seeing you guys tweet. It's in my mind every day.
Hey, our claim to fame is we've all taken a ride in the Uber with Dave. But we didn't have a Celsius in hand. Oh, and Dave likes Qualcomm too, John. He's really big into Qualcomm long term. So huge. Well, guys, I know it's Sunday. We got the Sunday scaries out there, is what we call them. I know it's 7:30 on the dot. I'm gonna release you guys back to the real world so we can get ready to go at it tomorrow. The market opens bright and early, 9:30, but I'll be watching the pre-market early. Right now, it looks like, before I let us go, guys, thank you guys again for holding on with us. Pre-market right now is, let's see, futures are down like 0.17. So, and it's a cool thing too, on Sundays, you can watch the futures. Obviously, your portfolio isn't moving, but you can see what's coming in the market tomorrow. this is how you're always learning and continue to grow your portfolio at the end of the day. So I'm going to close it out here. Wanted to give a shout out to my boy Rob Stein. Played River Rat baseball with him back in Richmond, Indiana. What was that, 2013?
2013, yep.
2013. I think we were hanging out all summer. I felt like we felt like we known each other for years, right?
All summer, and we wake up, go to the gym for a couple hours.
Of course we did.
Take a nap, get to the field at about 1 o'clock. Take BP, go to KFC, come back, take a nap at the field, then play every night. It couldn't be a better summer.
Couldn't be a better summer, man. I mean, dude, imagine if we knew, stocks back then, eh?
Oh my gosh. We could have been taking our daily stipends and putting them into stocks, dude. Actually, that should be what we were doing, going around to these summer baseball leagues and telling them, hey, take that $50, use 30 of it, put 20 into
man, they
stocks.
should have had us put it away a little ETF or something, but
exactly.
That's another story for another day. But dude, appreciate you for being on, Rob.
Absolutely.
Rob, let them know once again where they can find you on Twitter.
Twitter is at Rob Invest.
Awesome, man. Thank you again. And guys, that is Rob Stein. And also my boy John Kane. Thank you, longtime friend. My man John used to pick me up, take me to school. I used to be late coming out all the time. John already knows. That's another story for another podcast. He's already shaking his head. But dude, thank you for being on, man. Shout out to you guys once again for being on the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. And John, once again, let the listeners know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, it's at J Kane Invest, JKANE Invest. So appreciate you having me on, Ted. Always good. Obviously, we will talk soon, but appreciate everybody for listening.
Awesome, guys. Well, guys, I'm going to close it out here. You got your boy, the Dividend Dog, here on the Investing on a 9 to 5 podcast. Thank you guys again. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Want to get everybody in the market because we are trying to create generational wealth and release ourselves from the 9 to 5 eventually one day, hopefully. Once again, it's not financial advice. You guys have a good night. See ya.